Hi cuties, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a really fun money video. We're gonna be talking about how I have invested $35,000 this year. Even just saying that out loud feels crazy to me. I'm really proud of myself and I've made a lot of progress. Last year I invested just over $20,000 and I remember last year thinking that that was such a wild number, and that is a wild number. Like, I was really proud of myself then, but to think that I was able to increase that by $15,000 this year, I'm so proud of myself, and I wanted to share a bit of my journey and weave in some tips on how I think that you can do it too, because I think it's really important for people to see sort of like what's possible, and everyone is on a different journey. Like, everyone earns different income, everyone is in a different situation, everyone has different financial goals. For me, investing is a really big financial goal. So your goals are gonna look different, but I wanted to share some of my journey so that hopefully it can help you. A little bit of context, if you don't know who I am, I'm Melanie, obviously. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I live with my boyfriend, Mac, and I am a social media director at a marketing agency. I've been working in the marketing agency world for just over 6 years now, and I've got that full-time job, and then I also have a side hustle, which is content creation here on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So I make money through YouTube AdSense, and I also make money through brand deals, but I don't do them too often, just like a handful a year, but that is my side hustle. So, oh, and my age, I'm 31 years old. So if you're watching this, you know, we're all different ages, different stages, and I really don't want you to compare yourself to me. You can if you want, but I just feel like that's not really the point of this video. It's more so just to facilitate conversation and reflection, and just like take what you can from the video and just like leave what is not helpful or supportive to you. The very first way that I believe I was able to invest so much money this year, and this is every year that I've been on my investing journey, this is the key. And I think that this is the key for a lot of people, is to turn auto investments on. So what this means is every time a paycheck hits your bank account, let's say you get paid bi-weekly, which is when I get paid, you have it set up so that as soon as your paycheck comes in, a little bit of money comes right out and goes into your investment account. The reason why this works so well is that you don't have to do anything. It's just running in the background and your investments are getting taken care of. That money comes into your account and goes out so quickly that you sometimes won't even see it. And this is something that can be really helpful for people who have trouble with seeing money and wanting to spend that money right away. So this is basically like taken care of, and the only thing that you have to do is don't shut off the auto investment. Put your auto investment on for the bare minimum that you want to invest. So figure out what that number is for you and then just like set it and forget it, okay? Do not touch it. This is something that I set up at the beginning of the year, and I do not touch it. The only time I would touch it is near the end of the year. If I'm getting close to my maximums for certain investment accounts, then I want to keep a close eye on it so that I can basically redistribute some of those auto investments. Now, how much do I put on an auto investment? So this is, again, gonna be different for everyone. Personally, something that I like to do is I want to invest $1,000 a month minimum. Whatever number feels good to you, set that number. And I would say set it, if you're kind of just getting started with the auto investments, start it low. Like, I think when I first turned on auto investments, I turned on maybe like $100, and you want to set it low and kind of build up slowly and figure out what that point is where you get a bit nervous that you're going to have not enough money to, you know, not pay your bills. I don't want you to not be able to pay your bills, but kind of build it up until you feel it. So for me, over the years, I've been investing seriously for about 4 years now. Over the years, I have increased the amount of my auto deposits. So you may not start off at $1,000, but you can get there. So for me, that means that $500 bi-weekly, so each paycheck comes off. At the beginning of the year, I have this split up going to 2 accounts. One, oh, I'm also Canadian. Did I mention that? I did mention that. One account it goes into is the TFSA, and one account is my rrsp. So for me, in the beginning of the year, I will have it split up where $250 goes to my TFSA, $250 goes to my rrsp bi-weekly. And so that means that every month I'm investing $1,000. For me right now, I actually have $500 going all to my RSP, not to my TFSA, because I was actually able to max out my TFSA. So this is something that you want to keep an eye on to make sure that you're not over contributing to any accounts. So if I was just putting in my auto deposits, that means that I would invest $12,000 without really doing anything. Of course, I need to be working and earning that money, but if my employment is stable and if my auto investments stay turned on, then I'm able to invest $12,000 without really doing too much. So that's number one. That's my number one piece of advice. If you don't have auto investments turned on, look into it. I really like using Wealthsimple. I invest all of my money with Wealthsimple, and they make it really easy for you to set up your auto deposit. So 100%, if you're looking to invest consistently and a decent amount of money, turn on your auto investments. My second tip is that small and frequent contributions add up. So I'm gonna put on the screen a list of basically all of my contributions for the year, because I want to show you that you don't need to be investing $1,000 at a time. I wanna show you that pretty much what you can invest is perfect. Like whatever you have at the time is perfect. Sometimes I will go in and invest $20, $50. Basically, once my bills are taken care of, I'll kind of go in and just play around and say, okay, can I transfer $100 into my Wealthsimple account? And I do that all year long. So at the end of the year, it really makes the difference. If you want to, so $12,000 with my auto investments, obviously that means $13,000. Nope. $23,000. That's crazy. Okay, so the extra $23,000 above and beyond the 12 were all contributions that I made here and there. And so a lot of those were very small numbers. Not all of them. Some of them were a couple $1,000s, and I'll get into that later of how I was able to do that. But do not underestimate how much small and frequent deposits can really do to your overall investing strategy for the year. And so even if you have $5 to put in, put that in. If you decide one day not to get a coffee out and you're proud of yourself, put the cost of that coffee and put it into your investments, and truly just with time and with consistency, it's going to snowball and it's really gonna help you out in this journey. My third tip is to track every expense. So if you watch my videos, you probably know that I am a big advocate for tracking your spending. So I have a Notion template that I sell that I will link in the description box. And basically I've been using this since 2021. And so I have data for every single month and every single transaction that I have spent since 2021. And what this does for me is it frees up extra money for me to invest. So before I was tracking, I would spend my whole paycheck. Once my bills were covered, I would maybe have a little bit into savings, but I would spend the rest of it. And now that I am tracking and I have sort of an idea of what I'm spending on groceries every month, I have an idea of what my variable expenses are, I know to kind of keep my monthly spending under a certain amount so that it frees up money in my total income for the month so that I can be investing it. So if you are not aware of how much money you're spending on average every month, it's gonna be really hard for you to figure out where to find that extra money to invest. So I would highly recommend, if you're just getting started, again, auto investments and start tracking your spending. This is going to be like such a game changer for you. So I highly recommend that you do that. I also have a video about why tracking your spending will change your life, and so I will also link that, because I could talk about it for this whole video, but there's other things we need to chat about. Okay, so my other tip is if you have a full-time job and you are struggling with feeling like you don't have enough money to cover your bills, to cover your discretionary spending, and also to invest, you may want to consider a side hustle. I feel like, of course, like that's easy advice, but I feel as though people underestimate what a couple $100s more per month could really do for them. So for me, my side hustle, as I said, is content creation and YouTube AdSense. And I use this as bonus money. So anytime I've done a brand deal, like this whole year, whenever I did brand deals, once I got paid from that brand deal, it went straight into investments. So earlier when I was talking about there's some, lump sum investments this year that were a couple $1,000s. That was pretty much all money from brand deals. I feel like really lucky and privileged to get brand deals. I mean, it's honestly hard out there, and I'm a micro influencer and they don't come around all too often, but when they do, I'm able to charge a pretty good amount. Like I feel like, I don't know, I've worked with some great brands, and usually depending on like what package they go with, but it's usually around like $2,000 is kind of like my average. And so when that money comes in, I put 30% away for taxes because that's not taken off and I need to save for that. The rest of it just goes straight into investments because I rely on my full-time job to cover my bills and all of my other spending. And so this money truly is bonus money. And so my recommendation is, if you do have a side hustle, again, even if it's a couple extra $100 per month, use that money to fund your investments. Like this is what is gonna help you get out of that paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. And I know that it's hard, and I know it's hard to find like good solid side hustles. And I wish I could kind of give you a whole list of side hustles that you could do, but it wouldn't really feel authentic if I haven't done them myself. So I guess ones that I have done myself, babysitting, that used to be so lucrative for me when I was a teenager, and now I babysit my nephews, but I babysit them for free. So I don't babysit anymore, but honestly, babysitting is a great way to earn some extra cash. Dog sitting is another one, or dog walking. There's lots of side hustles, but really this is gonna be personalized to your situation. And so just kind of get creative, see what you can do. Okay, my next piece of advice is to figure out your why. So this is only gonna work if you know why you're doing it. I mean, that makes sense, right? But really think about it. Why do you wanna invest a lot of money? For me, why do I wanna invest $35,000 a year? For me, it's about safety and security. So this has been my why for my money stuff as soon as I got into personal finance, which was around like 2020. I've always kind of been interested in money, but like I went really hard with learning about personal finance and of course starting to create content around it. And for me, my why is that I have this desire to secure safety for myself. I feel like personally, I've gone through a lot in my life, and I've dealt with some mental health challenges, some physical health challenges, and I need to know that I can take care of myself. And for me, a cushion of money helps. And it was something that was just so important to me. In my early 20s, I knew that I was going to be building to have an emergency fund. I was gonna be building to have my retirement account started. I was gonna be building to have my TFSA maxed out, to have my fhsa when it came out so that I could eventually buy a house. For me, money equals security and safety, and that's not gonna be everyone's why. Everyone's gonna have a different why. And for me, honestly, my why is incredibly selfish, but it's my life, so to me, it's not selfish. Like, of course I need to take care of me before I can take care of anyone else. My other why is having learned about the power of compound interest and having seen that putting money into my retirement accounts that are invested as early as possible is going to pay off like 100-fold when I get into my old age. So if you're someone that is persuaded by numbers or with data, look into it, because trust me, it's going to light a fire under your ass to start investing as early and as often as you can. When you don't know about this, it's hard to even know why people are doing it. But again, the earlier you get started, the less money you actually have to put into the market to get the same amount of money. So I'm all about working smarter, not harder. And so once I saw those numbers, it was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So a main motivator for me is to put as much money into my retirement account that's invested into the market at this age, 31, so that by the time I retire, I mean, hopefully I can retire early, but by the time I retire, I'm going to have a lot of money because that money has been invested and compounding in the market for so many decades. My last tip is to be patient and stay the course. I think with money, it can be really easy to get motivated and to go hard for a couple of months and then completely drop off. And as I said before, with the small and frequent investments, with the ad hoc, like investments that are not the auto deposits, in addition to your auto deposits, in addition to time and staying the course. Do not turn off your auto deposits. This is going to, your investment portfolio is just going to blossom. And honestly, I have seen that for myself. I am considering filming a net worth video or an updated how much money I have invested in the markets video. I did film one in May where I filmed that I had $150,000 invested in the market. To be honest, I'm really scared. It just feels so vulnerable, but I did see that Gabby Peterson did an updated net worth video recently and I loved it. And her and I honestly have similar numbers. So if she can do it, I can do it. It is very vulnerable to put yourself out there on the internet and in that way, and you don't want people to think that you're bragging or that you're doing it for any other reason other than being transparent and trying to help so that other people can kind of do what you've done. But I think that if I do that video, I think it will be motivating for people to see how quickly my investment portfolio has grown compared to what I've put into it. Like, the compound growth truly is crazy. I mean, I guess without going into my numbers right now, my investment portfolio has grown by $40,000, okay? So since I started investing seriously in like 2020, the account has grown $40,000, which is more than what I deposited this year. So the growth is pretty crazy. The market is really hot right now and it may not be that way forever. But once you start to see the progress and how quickly it can be made, it's very motivating. And people always say that like the first $100,000 is the hardest. And yes, it was hard. And once I hit the $100,000 invested in the market, I thought that it was just gonna like take off and just like snowball. And it wasn't quite like that. I think that I started noticing some really big growth once I hit that 150 mark. But once I hit that, and I started to notice the speed, and now I know that the speed is only going to quicken with how much money I have in the market, it is a good feeling. And it's something that once you experience it for yourself, again, it will be like intrinsically motivating to you, but you have to stay the course and you have to be patient. This is not going to happen in a couple of months. It's going to happen in a couple of years. And just do not underestimate how much progress you can make within a couple of years. Of course, like a couple of months, that matters too, but zoom out a little bit. Think about what you can do in the next 5 years, whether that's increasing your income, increasing how much money you're putting into the stock market, decreasing your spending. Think about what you can do over the next 5 years. And trust me, your financial situation can be so different. My financial situation from the last 5 years, I honestly, it's like night and day. I swear I completely transformed my financial situation in the last 5 years. And I'm so glad that I started that journey 5 years ago, because I wouldn't be where I am today. And I also feel as though like this is just the beginning for me. Like, I feel really excited and motivated, and I want to continue sharing about this, because whenever I do, I find people are saying like, you know, thank you for posting about this. And especially as a woman, like there's so many men here talking about finances, and they don't get any criticism. I guess some of them do, but they don't get nearly as much criticism as women do. So it truly is a vulnerable place to be, but I am happy to do it. So basically my advice to you is just start. Set up a system for yourself, and that system is tracking your expenses and setting up auto deposits for your investments. And then you want to basically invest whenever you can, basically invest as early and often as you can. And trust me, you're going to be excited about the results. I'm trying to think about for next year what my goal is in terms of investments, and I just haven't figured that out yet, because to be honest, I didn't set an investment goal this year. And I was able to invest $35,000. So I really did that without even really trying to do that. And so I just need to figure out where my priorities are in terms of my finances. But another thing I want to mention, actually, that may be motivating, is that this year I maxed out my TFSA, my RRSP, and my FHSA. So if you're Canadian, you know those accounts, but basically tax-free savings account, retirement account, and first-time homebuyers account. And I maxed them all out for the first time ever. And so I actually started investing in like a non-registered account. And I think that that's why I'm not really thinking too much about like what next year looks like, because the goal will be to max out those accounts again once I get more contribution room. And once I max those out, I feel like I don't need to be too hard on myself, because this is the journey, but I need to like enjoy it along the way. And I need to live my life, and I need to take care of myself along the way. So I think my goal for next year is just gonna be to do that again. And if I have extra money, I could maybe invest it into a non-registered account. But honestly, Mel, if you're maxing out those three, like you're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. You're doing amazing, sweetie. And so it's possible. It really is possible. Definitely with some hard work. It's not without hard work, and it's not without me having a good job. Like I have a good job that I've worked really hard for and that I continue to work hard at. But there's lots of puzzle pieces that came into my financial picture to make this happen. But I just wanted to share my story and tell you that you can also invest a lot of money, and you can also see your money grow, and it's gonna be amazing, and you're gonna be so happy and proud of yourself because you did that. You did that. You grew that money. Okay, that's all I've got for you. I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you want me to film that updated net worth video or how much I have invested in the market, comment down below and I will strongly consider it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I do lots of these money videos, and I also do vlogs, and I'd love to have you on this channel. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye.